Hello and welcome to AWS Babies. So we are currently in the IAM lecture series in which I have already shown some of the IAM features. So the password policy already we have seen, and the M of a multi-factor authentication we have already seen, and you can see both are check marked. So now let us get into the other details of IAM. So first I will talk about policies. So what a policy is? Policy is basically a document that you can attach to a user or a group. So what that means? Say for example, a particular service I am taking in AWS, which is EC2. So you can have so many policies for EC2 itself. Say you are having a company in which one of your employee, for him you only want to have a read-only access for him. So for him you can attach a policy for EC2 which is having only read-only access via the console. So that with his user account, this particular policy will be attached so that he will be only having read-only access to EC2 service. Like that we have so many sets of policies. Whichever you want, you can attach it to a particular user. So it can be admin access to EC2, it can be full access to EC2, or enabling task auto scaling, or so many other policies which you can select and attach to a particular user. So it is not only for EC2 service, it is there for almost all the services which is there for AWS. So that is what basically a policy is. So what I will do, I'll just get into the policies option. So here the different policies that are shown here. So whatever that we want, we can select and we can attach it to a particular user or a group. So these are all templates that are already available for different policies. Say for example, as I told, if I go for a particular service that is EC2, it will display all the policies that are related to EC2. So here you can see provide administrative access to all the ECR resources, or say provides full access to Amazon EC2 via the AWS management console, etc., etc. So many are there. Whichever you want, you can select. So this is one option where already the template is available. What you can do, you can create a new policy if you want, according to your own necessity. So for that, what you're going to do is you can click create policy. You have two options here. One is a visual editor in which it is a kind of graphical user interface. So whatever you want, like choose a service, you can select a particular service. For example, if you want um, the list of EC2 servers that is available for your root account, and if you just want to have a read-only access, so both you can give. How you can do that is EC2, you can select the service and the actions it will ask. So in that, the access level is list, read, write. So if I want list and read, I can select those two. So this is an option for creating the custom policies. So I'm selecting list and read, in which you can see in list itself you have 72 options that are selected. Again, micro level of selections you can do by clicking this. Whatever particular things you want, you can select. So because this is custom based, whatever you want, you can select the exact thing that you want. Okay, then after selecting whatever accesses you want, you can go to review policy, in which it will show you what all you have already selected. Then you can create the policy with your own name. This is one method of creating a custom policy. The next is like JSON. JSON is actually a language in which you can write codes, and if you know the JSON language very well, you can create codes and select your own policies. Let me get into what group is. Group means a set of policies, you can say, and what you're going to do, under the group you are going to categorize all the users. Say for example, you are going to create a group with EC2 full access and S3 full access, and the employee whoever you are going to recruit and he's going to work on EC2 and S3, you will keep that employee, you will create the user credentials for that employee under that particular group. So I will just create a group, and I'm going to attach the EC2 policy to that, and then I will show you how to add an user under a particular group. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a group, namely EC2 group, and for which I'm going to provide full access for EC2. Then I will create a user and attach to EC2 group. Let me get back to the um, dashboard. So I'm going into groups. I'm going to create a new group, and as mentioned, I'm going to name it as EC2 group. I'm going ahead. So here is the policy that you have to select. So as I mentioned, I'm going to select EC2 full access. I'm going to the next step. So this is the page for reviewing it, and I'm creating the group. Yep, the group is created and it is ready for you. What you can do on clicking the group name, you can see all the details of it. So the creation time, who are all users are there under this group, what are the permissions available for this group, inside which you can see what all policies are attached. So here, as I mentioned, easy to full access is attached. So on clicking this, you can show whatever policy is already there. So this is the JSON script that you are able to see it. So if you can see it, EC2, it is allowing. So star in the sense full access is allowed for EC2 service. Then if you see, certain other services also is attached along with this policy. So these are all available in this particular EC2 full access policy. So if you take EC2 full access policy, then you have access not only to EC2, you have all the things, all the services related to EC2 also, which is elastic load balancing, CloudWatch, auto scaling, etc., etc. So if you know the JSON scripting language, then you can easily understand that. So this is show policy for you, and always from this group you can detach whatever policy that you have already added, and you can attach a new policy if you want. So those things we will see. Okay, so the group is ready for you. Now next what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new user and add the user to this particular group so that he's having easy to full access. So let me get into users. So what I'm going to do, currently there is no user that is available. I'm adding a new user. I'm naming the user as test1. Now here is the access type that we have to give. So already I told there are three types of access through which you can access AWS. GUI, that is from the console, you are going to manually get into each and every service that you want to access, and then you are going to create everything as we do for this users, groups, whatever we did till now. We are manually doing it. So that is GUI. API is like application programming interface. So it can be done through JSON scripting or through external tools like S3 browser, or so many other tools are available. For that API we call it. So these two, for GUI you need user credentials I told. So that's what we are going to create. And so user credentials in the sense, obviously it is a username and a password. And if MFA is enabled, that also. And for API, it is like account keys. So account keys in the sense there are again two terms, which is an account key and a secret account key. So we will see both here. So this 1 and 2 are the options which are shown here. One is the programmatic access, in which you have an access key ID and a secret access key. So those things are accessed via API or CLI or SDK. So which means application programming interface or command line interface or SDK, software development kit. Second one is the AWS management console access, for which you need a username or a password. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to select both, so that for the new user account created, I will be getting an access key and a secret access key, and for that user there will be username and password which will be provided by AWS. So username we already have, will be getting a password as well. So that console password, Amazon will be auto generating it and giving to us. So require password reset. So this password reset is user must create a new password at next login. So that I am check marking. I'm going to next permissions. Here you can see add user to the group. So the group that we have already added with the policy, which is easy to full access. I'm going to select that. If you want to create a new group, you can do it here and attach the policy. So I'm going ahead with this easy to group. I'm going to review whatever is added till now. Yes, yes, yes. Programmatic access and AWS management console access. Password is auto generated. Yes, with username this. Yes, go ahead and create the user. You can see you successfully created the users shown below, etc, etc. And yeah, here you can see the DNS link through which the user can access the AWS. So the access key and the secret access key is shown here. Password is given to us for AWS manually accessing through the console. So if you press show, you can see the details. What I'm going to do, I'll just copy paste all this information into my notepad. So for the user, I have copy pasted all the necessary credentials to my notepad. So what I'm going to do, I will copy this DNS link, and I will open another browser so that it's not clashing with my root account that is opened in Google Chrome. So I am using another browser for this user credentials. So I have the Firefox browser opened, in which I'm going to paste the DNS link. So this is my root account ID, which is AWS-link. Test1 is the username, and password is pasting it. signing in. Since I have given the option that the user must change the password after the first logging, it is asking for a password change, and I am giving the new password. So the new password should be according to the already set policy permissions that we have already set. According to that, we should give it, and the user is now able to access the console with whatever permissions he have, which is only EC2. So if you see it, if I go ahead and press all services, if I go inside, if I try to access EC2 and try to get into it, it will allow us to create a new instance and launch it. It will allow us to do that. So at the same time, if we try to access a some other service, which is say for example S3, which I have not attached it as a policy to this user, but simply for understanding sake, I will try to get into S3 and try to access it. You can see the error message access denied. So what I'm going to do, for understanding purpose, what I'm going to do, I'm coming out of this. So I am in the root account now. So I am in the IAM console. So what I'm going to do to this particular group, already easy to full access is there for the user, but we try to access S3, which the system is not permitting. What I'm going to do, I'm attaching one more policy inside which I will add S3 full access as well. You can see both are added now, and it is added to the EC2 group, and inside it and under EC2 group, the user is tagged. The user test one is tagged. So what I'm going to do, if I refresh the screen, so currently I'm in the Firefox, which is logged in with the test one user credentials. See all the bucket access, everything in S3, we have the control to do it, and we have the access to create a new bucket. Now, what we did under the groups, we added the new policy. We have an option to add the policies to users as well. So we just added S3 full access to the group EC2. But if we want only the user, for this particular user only S3 access is required, then we can always get into this user and attach the policy to this user alone. That option is also available. So yeah, one more thing that we have to see here is you can see all except one option is check mark. Last one is the delete your root access keys. So root access key in the sense it is, yeah, it is the access key ID and the secret access key ID. So this is for the user, but if you want to delete for your root access key and secret access key, you can do it through this option. Then again, whenever it is needed, you have to to a go to the root account and get the regenerate the keys that you want. So that option is also available here. One more thing is the password reset. So say for example, for this user, if you want to reset the password, say for example your employee, he has forgot his password and he want to reset whatever password he wants, um, you can get into the security credentials. So for this particular user, the console password which is enabled, which can be managed as well. So inside this you can get into this and um, reset the password for the user. So here you can see auto generate password or custom password, you can set it and give to the user. Also for the user, you have already created the access key and the secret access key. You can always make it active or inactive. So I didn't talk about that actually. So using the username and password, we logged into different browser and showed you that the user has access to do those things. But the same user through an external software or through programmatic access, he can always give these particular credentials and access the AWS. So we saw how to reset a password. So for generating and regenerating the keys, access key and the secret access key also, you have that option right here inside the user wherever you came. So yeah, inside the users, if you go to security credentials, here you can reset the password. Also, whenever you feel like creating a new access key or if you want to regenerate, you can make it active or inactive, everything you can do it here. Yeah, so there is one last option that is left, last topic that is left in IAM, which is roles. We'll see it in detail in the next video. Thanks for watching this video. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are interested. Thank you.